best friend. And with Bob's help, she was a control queen if there ever was one. I've arranged today's memorial. She refused to call it a celebration. A celebration, she was fond of saying, is when you drop a quaalude and go to the meat rack. You know, the carousel. He also refused to have flowers. If he couldn't do the flowers, no one could. I thought of substituting fruit instead. Infinitely more appropriate, don't you think? We're going to begin with a little slideshow I put together. Lights, please. Music. Maestro. What's the matter? Technical difficulties so early in the show? Memorial? The light bulb blew. What are the chances of that? Okay, Bobby. You win. He hated the slideshow idea. He said it was too Norma Desmond for words. So I guess he won. The light bulb blew. Are you sure? Did you try another plug? Turn off that music. I'm the only fag in the world who loathes Miss Sondheim. Bob loved him. But he did not get through all of last year, and he's not still here, thank you very much. Well, that's showbiz. I'm going to begin. We've asked that the speakers keep their comments brief so some of you can make it to the beer bust at the Gauntlet. I'll never forget when he pranced into our positive support meeting. Get it? Positive support? Brimming with double meaning. It was about 3 years ago. I remember he said testing positive was like that moment in The Wizard of Oz, when it goes from black and white into color. Hello? Who is this demented cookie, I thought to myself. When I tested positive for HIV, it reminded me of another one of Judy's hits. Judgment at Nuremberg. Anyway, it was the first of many color references. If anything, Bob was colorful. Full of color. Full of shit sometimes, too, as most of you know. I always told him the reason he became a florist is because it was the one occupation where he could look halfway butch. And it's true. Dressed in those tight jeans and plaid shirts, she never did recover from the village people period. She looked like Clint Eastwood compared to some flower girls. But underneath that quasi-butch exterior lurked one loony leading lady. Last year, I got him a license plate for his birthday. FFAWW. Far from a well woman. I'm also the one who talked him into doing drag. You simply must before you die, honey, I pleaded. I mean, he'd been to Egypt, but he'd never walked down Santa Monica Boulevard in a dress. Priorities. Priorities. It was last Halloween. As it turned out, it was his last Halloween. And I'll admit, at this point in his AIDS career, he was a little wobbly on his feet. Even when he wasn't wearing 3-inch stiletto pumps. There we were at the corner of Santa Monica and Crescent Heights in full regalia. He looked like an anorexic Lonnie Anderson. We were poised to cross the street when a car hit a skunk in the road. A real one, girlfriend, not one of the other drag queens. And the goddamn thing sprayed all over us. And believe me, no amount of Liz's passion would kill the smell. So we went to our respective homes after stopping at the 7-Eleven for several cans of tomato juice. You should have seen the clerk's face. We smelled like we'd been staying at the Coral Sands for over a week. He probably thought we were going to have a few hundred Bloody Marys that we'd get so drunk we wouldn't have to smell each other. Tomato juice, they say, is the only way to get rid of skunk stench. Bob went to his house, I went to mine. We both plunged into a tub of tomato juice. Next thing I know, Bob's roommate, a drama queen with a capital Q, calls me on the phone, hysterical. "Bob's killed himself," she's screaming. It was very Olivia de Havilland, if you know what I mean. I knew he was concerned or distressed that we weren't going to win the costume competition at Raid. But suicide? I didn't think so. "I've already called 911, she shrieks into the phone. Now I'm concerned. "I came home and found him in the bathtub, unconscious, lying in his own blood. He must have slashed his wrists," she screamed. "Oh, Mary, get a grip," I said. "She got squirted by a skunk in West Hollywood." "Who? What's his name?" she wanted to know. By this time, I hear sirens in the background. The paramedics have arrived to bandage Bob's wrists. Not a bad idea, all things considered. "Gotta go," Olivia chirps, as though it was a blind date she'd been expecting. Well, Bob had fallen asleep in the bathtub. Quelle surprise to wake up to a pack of pumped-up paramedics staring down at her. She must have thought she died and arrived at Heaven's Bathhouse, or circus books. When she emerged from the tub like Marilyn in those clips from Something's Gotta Give, revealing a constellation of lesions, chaos lesions, on her chest, the paramedics split faster than you can say Nazi. After it was all over, Olivia de Havilland had only one question. Who was the skunk? When Bob would tell the story, he would describe it in Technicolor. The tomato juice wasn't red, it was crimson. Bob, in fact, was crimson. Everything about him was red. Bold, daring, alive, vibrant, sexy, passionate. The color of valentines, the color of roses, the color of Lucy's hair, the color of ruby slippers, the color of blood, the color of tomato juice. When I got the call from Andy, his nurse, I thought back to that Halloween night. Another mistake, right? He can't be dead. But this time he really was. His heart, his crimson heart, had given out. Maybe I should have had crimson put on his license plate.